After a nail-biting second half, the Carolina Panthers unfortunately lost game 1 of the season. In this video, we'll review what we can do to make sure that doesn't happen in week 2 in our game against the Giants. Let's look at it.
I'm from the foe, you dig?
Welcome back to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. In this video, we're going to be giving a preview of Week 2 Carolina Panthers versus the New York Giants. We're going to be looking at 4 key points to the game, those points being Baker's comeback after a shaky first start in his first game, Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore in this offense, how we can stop Saquon Barkley, and what we can do to slow down Daniel Jones. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and slide right into the first topic of this video. Now, last week, and if you saw my previous breakdowns of the game, you know that Baker Mayfield struggled mightily, but mostly in the first half and more specifically the first 3 quarters of the game last week against the Cleveland Browns. He had 4 total fumbles. He had multiple pass deflections. He couldn't get the ball to open receivers. It was looking very bad until we had the turnaround after halftime. I'm not sure what Matt Rule said to these guys in the locker room, but they came back out with a lot more flair, a lot more fight, and Baker Mayfield came and brought that swag that I thought he would be able to bring in this offense. He got things going, and we actually were able to take the lead late, but we unfortunately lost on a field goal, or the narrative for this week surrounding my Panthers and Baker Mayfield would be terribly different. Well, hopefully, I hope that he took some time to work with the center. This week, as I mentioned a few moments ago, he had 4 separate fumbles on a few different occasions. I'm not necessarily the offensive line guy, so I can't rate the exchange or come on here and tell you that it's it's the offensive line guy's fault. So I'm here to know that I saw Baker fumble the ball and he was also accredited with them in the stat sheet. So I have to put that on Baker. So hopefully he and whoever's playing center this week can have went out and they've put in a lot more time practicing those handoffs, whether it be under center and the gun. Now, finally on this topic is after we talked about his bounce back and his inability to to hold on to the ball. Hopefully he's worked with the center. A big storyline surrounding this game for anybody that cares is going to be they're going to harken back to Baker Mayfield's comments that he actually made about Daniel Jones about 2 or 3 years ago, where he mentioned that he has no idea why the New York Giants selected Daniel Jones, basically implying that he thinks he sucks and that he's better than him. So we're going to have to watch that. Baker's a guy that talks a lot of noise. So, he feels dangerous. He needs to feel dangerous in this game because there's absolutely no way that you can talk shit like that and then just, come back and then lay an egg when you have to go against the guy face to face. You're not on your stacked team. The teams are pretty much even, in my opinion. So, Baker, let's see what you can do, man. You got to back up those words, and you better not, and I repeat, you better not let Daniel Jones get this win over you, because the tabloids, the media, the talking heads, all those things are going to be all over you, even though they ignored Joe Burrow last week. But that's a different story. So we're going to move on. In conclusion, now we're not going to move on yet. I want you all to let me know in the comments section, what do you think about Baker? Do you think that he's going to have a bounce back game? Do you think he's going to be able to do it? And do you think that it'll be a media firestorm if we actually do lose because of his comments about Daniel Jones? I honestly have forgotten about it. It was so long ago that it doesn't necessarily seem relevant. But if you stir the pot enough, I promise you it'll some stuff will come out of it. So y'all leave y'all comments on that subject below. Now moving on. You see me absolutely go off about this topic, and I apologize if I seem to rise a little bit when it comes to this before. Last week in game 1, I actually came on here in my post-game review, and I ripped, and I mean absolutely ripped, the play calling and McAdoo, I believe specifically, because between these two guys are number 1 and number 2 offensive playmakers. I'm not even going to identify them by their position. They are 1 and 2 offensive playmakers outside of the quarterback position. They only had 18 touches between the two of them. McCaffrey only touched the ball 14 times, and DJ Moore was only targeted 4 times. That is completely unacceptable, and that cannot happen in this game. If we hope to get the offense going, if we hope to get the consistency, if we hope to consistently get first downs, to consistently at least get into field goal range so that we can put points on the board, we need to get the ball in the playmakers' hands. I need between Christian McCaffrey, I need Christian McCaffrey to have at least 20 touches, whether that be on regular design runs, or if that's little check downs, or if that's a wheel route or if that's a quick slant. We need to get the ball in his hands, let him get his feet wet. We need to see where he is. There is no protecting him at this point. He needs to come in and he needs to contribute. He's off of his injury. He claims to be fully healed. We need to put him out there, and we need to utilize him to the best of his ability. This guy has had 1,000 rush yards and 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. He still has some pop and he still has some burst. We need at least 20 touches out of Christian McCaffrey. And DJ Moore, I need at least 12 targets. My guy averages over 1,000 yards for 4 of the first 5 seasons that he's been in the league, except for his rookie season. That's hella impressive to me, and I believe that he can do it again this year, but we have to put the ball in his hands. We have to make sure that we are getting the ball designed. I don't care if the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, if we're doing screens, if we can utilize him. Just like I said when I compared this offense to the Cleveland offense, I said we need to use DJ Moore similar to how Stefanski in Cleveland utilized Jarvis Landry. Although he was the number 1 receiver, he was used in the middle of the field and in the slant a lot. He was just targeted the most. But Baker likes to use, he's short. He uses his tight ends. He uses his slot receivers because of his position. That is what he's comfortable with. So we need to put DJ Moore in position to get those passes, because we do not have the tight ends that can supplement for what Baker had in Cleveland. Those need to be DJ Moore's targets. So I need to see at least 12 targets to DJ Moore, and that would definitely assist us offensively when it comes to taking down the Giants, who did look a bit impressive last week in their win. So what do you all think about that? Similar to how I talked about the first topic, you go ahead and leave your comments on that below, and we're gonna keep this thing going for this pregame preview. Now, last week against the Cleveland Browns, we allowed 217 total rushing yards between the dynamic backfield of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Now, that was a duo back that came out there and absolutely gave us work. The defense could not hold up. They could not hold their gaps. They could not hold their contain. And we just absolutely got ran all over to the tune of over 10 first downs on the ground. Saquon Barkley showed last week that he is here to have a bounce back season and possibly win the Comeback Player of the Year award, because he had 18 rushes for 164 yards. He had 6 catches for 30, totaling in 194 all-purpose yards. Now, with what we displayed on defense last week, we have to put all of our resources up front, and we need the game of his life from that bust. See my previous video if you haven't. From the bust up front, Derrick Brown. We need him to show us something this game. We need for him to close up those gaps, and there needs to be no room up the middle to run the ball. We need Burns and Yetur to contain. We need for them to not let him bounce to the outside. We need for Chin to come down and guard whomever is playing either in the slot or in the or either playing tight end, so that when they do dump the ball off to Saquon, we have somebody else that is closer to the box to be able to get there, swarm the ball, and make the tackle, so that we are just not leaving Saquon in the open field against, just a DB alone. The only one I trust to make the tackle on the team is Chin. Xavier Woods is a baller, but I have to see a little bit more. So we have to do what we can to make sure that he's not able to put up almost 200 yards alone by himself, and we need for that defense to step up. We cannot allow them to go to the tune of over over 200 yards again, like we did last week with the Browns. Now, moving on from this, because we all know that how I feel about the run defense, and I'm feeling it in my soul. I'm really about to rant to y'all about the Derrick Brown situation. So we're just gonna move on. Finally, although Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, whatever they call him, does not get that much respect, we still have to show respect to his skill set. Danny Dimes is somebody that can get out there and he can actually use his legs to make a lot of plays. So I think it's very important that we actually utilize what we have on defense to make sure that in short yardage situations, being anything third and less than, I say, maybe six yards, we have to be cognizant and maybe send a spy on at least 70-80% of the plays to make sure that Daniel Jones isn't able to just scamper out of the pocket over to the corner and just beat whomever to the edge and get the first down. He is capable of doing that. I'm not going to sit here and praise him on his throwing ability, nor am I going to analyze his receivers, because I personally do not feel like he's very much capable of getting the ball to him. But he is dynamic when it comes to his legs, like a poor man's Mitch Trubisky, if you like, honestly. So he ran for I believe 3 first downs in the first game last year. So we have to make sure that he's not scampering off of those yards. But there's been a problem that he's always had that I believe that if we can take advantage of with our guys up front, it can set the offense up in very, very favorable field position to put some easy points on the board. And that is the fact that if he is hit, he drops the ball. So far, Daniel Jones has played 39 games in the NFL. He has accumulated 37 fumbles in that time. So if we can get our asses in the backfield, Burns, if you can get back there, no over pursuits, you get a lot of pressure. But as far as getting hits on the quarterback, we need you this week, because if you can get back there, you will have at least 2 or 3 strip sacks if you can hit him hard enough. If we can just get somebody to hit him hard when he tries to get out, when he tries to scamper out for the scrambles, just keep him honest, make sure that he just hesitates for at least one step when he does that. I believe that can be incredible. So we have to make sure we come down, we lay the wood on this guy, we get the ball out, and we utilize those fumbles for favorable field position, and we take advantage of that field position by doing the things that I had in my offensive breakdown earlier in this video, and we go ahead and we put points up on these guys, and we make sure that we don't start off 2 games in the hole and out of division play, because that's not looking too good for us. So with that being said, what do you all think about these topics? I think the Panthers are going to be able to bring out the victory. If I had to give it a final score, I'm going to say Panthers win. I'm going to call it 24-17. I'm going to say it's a 1 touchdown victory. I say Baker shows that he could be steady. Christian McCaffrey gets a lot more touches, and that offense shows that it's gonna right its way throughout the season. So thank you all for tuning in to this video. Again, I am Jamario Rashad. Before you leave, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. You see the banner below. I do have a giveaway going on. As soon as I hit 100 subscribers, I will be giving away $20 to a random person that has subscribed but also commented on my video. So please be sure to do that. Also, leave your score predictions below. And if you actually get it on the nail, you won't even have to, like, if you get the score prediction right, you won't even have to wait to the 100 subscribers. I would just cash app you the money. So leave that comment below. But until then, I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm gonna quit babbling. I appreciate your time. I'm Jamario Rashad. That was the way I see it. Peace.